Hi, welcome to Sunkissed, and today we're filming episode number 2 of Yarn Addiction. If you haven't watched the first episode of Yarn Addiction, I will put it, again I forgot, either here or either here. I'll put it there and make sure you watch the first episode. This is episode number 2, and if you haven't watched the first one, basically the series is I have a personal Pinterest board on my Pinterest called Yarn Addiction, where I put pins that I really want to make and I like how they look. And in this series that's called the same as the board name, I'm trying to recreate these pins and make the projects for myself. So this is already episode number 2. Feel free to head and check out the first one if you're interested, and stay tuned for this one. Today I'm going to attempt to make a sweater. I'm going to put the pin somewhere here. Attempt to make a sweater. It's really similar to the project I made in last episode of Yarn Addiction. In the last episode of Yarn Addiction I made a vest. This is going to be a sweater, so the difference between that is going to be that I'm adding sleeves, I'm adding a collar and cuffs, and probably also, what is it called, like a collar for the down part of the sweater. So I'm going to be making a sweater. Again, I haven't watched a lot of patterns about this exact sweater. The only pattern I have watched is how to make an eye granny square, and I'm going to link that down in the description. I'm giving credit to the person who made it. I watched the video, I used the pattern, so I'm going to link it down below so you can follow it. So this is one of the panels I have made for the sweater. As you can see, in the middle there's an eye granny square that I made using a tutorial from a YouTube video that I'm going to link down below. And further, I just made a granny square all around in different colors using only double crochets. Looks a little bit trippy. So I made one panel and I made a second panel. So now I have two big granny squares with an eye in the middle, and the next step in this project is I'm going to have to attach them together. Similar to the last episode, if you watched it, I'm going to be tying scrap yarn into lost the corner. I'm going to be tying scrap yarn in the corners of these. Then I'm going to be putting it on and seeing how it fits me, where I want the neck hole to be, where I want the armholes to be. Then I'm going to sew it or slip stitch it together, and the next step is going to be adding the sleeves. So for now, I'm going to put scrap yarn in the corners of this project and put it on, see how it fits. As I also mentioned in the first episode, you can definitely use stitch markers to mark these places. It's going to be a hell of a lot easier for you. I don't have stitch markers, so we're being creative, doing a little DIY moment as we are on this channel, and I'm going to be using a contrasting scrap yarn. It doesn't matter what color it is, just a scrap yarn because I don't have stitch markers. So I'm going to be cutting it and tying it in the corners of the granny squares and then trying the project on. Okay, so I have tied the two granny squares together in every corner, and I'm going to put the project on and see where I want the neck and armholes to be. I have put in more scrap yarns to see where the armholes and the neck hole is going to be, and I'm going to try it on again to see if it fits and it hits the right places. It opened up. I'll do it again and then try it on. Okay, attempt number 2 to put it on after adding the scrap yarns again. I hope it doesn't open up again. And note to self, please Laura, buy what they were called. Please buy stitch markers. This is getting quite annoying. Trying to not rip them open. I checked how it looks on me in the mirror, and I think I'm pretty happy with the results. I may alter the armholes just slightly bit bigger than I did, but other than that I really like the way it looks. And using the same yarn that I used for the last row of these granny squares and a darning needle, tapestry needle, I'll be probably stitching them using the mattress stitch and then making the sleeves. So I have, using the mattress stitch, attached these sides and these sides, obviously on the other side too. Right now the sweater looks like this. You can keep it as a vest as we did in the first episode of Yarn Addiction, and you can also add the sleeves like we're going to do just now. So on to the sleeves right now. As this is a project of basically no pattern, only pattern I used, as I said, is for this eye granny square. The other parts are just, what was the word for it? Freehand. The other parts are just free-handed, so you can make it in any size you want. You just start with this eye granny square, and then you just keep going until you have the desired size of both granny squares. You sew them together, and now I'm going to work in the round, attaching the sleeves. So that's what I'm going to do, using the same colors I had, maybe a different color palette, I mean different sequence of the colors, because I don't have that many of them left. But that's what we're going to do, and I'm going to come back to you when I'm going to be working on the cuffs for the sleeves and the collar and this band or whatever you call it. So right now the next step in this project is attaching yarn. I'll probably attach it down here so the seam where I change the colors is invisible, and just work in the round with all these colors until I reach the desired length for my sleeves, and then I'm going to show you how I make the cuffs. See you then. I have just reached the desired length for the sleeves of the sweater that I was making, and now I'm going to be attaching a dark blue yarn and knitting the cuffs. I really like how the knit cuffs look, much better than the crochet ones. When you do have double crochets or something in the back loops only, I like the knitted version better. I think I'm going to skip a few stitches, make it a bit tighter, and attach the yarn and knit the cuffs. I just attached the dark blue yarn, pulled it through every loop, put it on knitting needles so I can knit in the round, and now I'm going to knit every second stitch together so I have half of the stitches that I have now. And then I'm going to begin probably 1 by 1 or 2 by 2 rib for the cuffs. As you can see, I have finished crocheting the sweater and knitting the cuffs. I have the collar and I have the cuffs. I think it looks really cute. I'm obsessed with how it looks. It's also very cozy and very comfortable. I don't know, I just like the blue colors. I think it suits my blue eyes and blonde hair so much. So when knitting the collar and the cuffs and the band around my waist, my stomach, I knitted it, obviously, as I said, in a 1 by 1 rib. And for the sleeves, I decreased half of the stitches so the sleeve is really like cinched together. And for the collar and for the band around, I decreased in every 16th stitch. So it's a little bit smaller than the whole, so it's a bit cinched in and it looks cuter. Obsessed with the sweater. All that's left to do is weave in a few loose ends, because I tried to weave in most of them as I went, so I don't have that many. So I have only a small amount of ends to weave in, and the sweater is finished. I also hope you made this pattern, as it is really easy. Just 2 granny squares and the sleeves and the cuffs, and it's super easy, I promise you. I used basically nothing but double crochets and made this in a few days, and it was a pretty easy mindless project, so I hope you make it too. If you do, tag me on Instagram or TikTok or somewhere, and I would really like to see your result in different colors, or maybe using different stitches like double crochets, half double crochets, mesh stitch maybe. It could also be super adorable. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you make this pattern, and don't forget to press like to this video, subscribe to my channel to not miss out any other episodes of Yarn Addiction or any other new videos. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, Sunkissed!